exploration of historical accounts of witchcraft and magic, the folklore associated with magic in Wales, and an insight into how a modern-day witch might incorporate a knowledge of these things into their practice. This is in keeping with the spirit of many streams of what is known today as traditional witchcraft. Modern traditional witches pull on folklore, history, and regional superstitious beliefs to inform and construct their practices, as opposed to following the modern mythos found in many neo-pagan traditions of witchcraft. This book acts as an insight into a region-specific history and lore associated with magic and witchcraft. Much of what you will hear throughout this book may not align with neo-pagan, eclectic streams of witchcraft, such as Wicca, as I am not Wiccan. The witchcraft presented in this book follows the magical traditions of both Celtic paganism and historical magical practices originating in Wales. What does it mean to be a witch today? The chapters of this book will explore witchcraft and the very archetype of the witch as found in the Celtic legends and folklore of Wales and Britain, as well as among folk beliefs stretching back over the past few millennia. Many people today don the label of witch with pride and integrity. How times have changed from the days when claiming to be a witch might have earned oneself a death sentence. One of the key elements of being a witch today is being an individual who is empowered, who takes matters into their own hands, and knows the power they hold. They employ this empowered understanding of their own intrinsic power in order to cause change and work their magic in the world. A witch is unapologetic in nature, wholly authentic to who they are and what they desire. At its core, however, a witch is simply someone who practices witchcraft. You will find lists upon lists in various media pointing to signs that you may be a witch at heart. The fact of the matter is that the only true signs of being a witch are that you practice witchcraft and that you label yourself as a witch. It is very much as simple as that. Of course, by choosing to carry the label of witch with you, you are entering a continuum of magical practitioners and specialists who have, whether by choice or not, also been referred to by that term. A witch is a complex archetype, simultaneously feared and revered. Witches are the stuff of nightmares and the stuff of dreams, all wrapped up into one. Contrary to what many might believe, being a witch does not require any specific religious beliefs. Being a witch and being religious are two entirely separate things. You can be both religious and a witch, or one or the other. Throughout history, witches have come from a variety of cultures and beliefs. In fact, much of what we know now as the archetype of the witch stems from the lore formulated in predominantly Christian periods of history. Many of the traditional healers, wise women and cunning folk that are often conflated as being the predecessors of the modern-day witch, were indeed Christian, or of a similar faith, rather than pagan, as most witches today are. The practices explored in this book cannot be neatly compartmentalized as being purely pagan in nature. The path of the witch in Wales was historically a crooked path, not quite pagan, yet not quite Christian either. It is easy for modern practitioners of witchcraft to dismiss Christianity as having no bearings on modern magical practice, and yet the historical folk magical practices of Wales, and indeed Britain, drew upon Christian theology. The charms, spells, and magical workings that are recorded in historical documents often seem Christian on the surface, and yet there is also an element of archaic pre-Christian knowledge within them. Brushing aside any discomfort we have with Christianity, the Church, and the God of the Christians, we cannot entirely ignore the vast influence Christianity has had on Wales and Britain's culture and people for centuries. I invite the listener of this book to sweep away any preconceived ideas.